Simpson kills those two people so hard, they stop making the Ford Bronco.
Woo! Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, everyone. Thank you for your patience. That was another one of those late work days, running home, turning everything on, getting everything set up, taking care of the dogs, and jumping right in here. Appreciate your patience. Thank you for that extra 5-minute wait. Deeply, deeply appreciated. I saw we just had a meme raid. We had a meme copium raid just as I was joining here. So welcome everyone from Meme Copium. Thank you to the 125 of you that waited for 5 minutes. Deeply, deeply apologize for that. Well, we gotta do better. We can do better than that. So let's see how much better we can do today. I don't have the poll set up yet. I'll start the poll when we start the testimony here. I'll put the poll up. Today's like and subscribe poll. You guys are super awesome. Today is Thursday. Every Thursday is OJ Simpson Day. Lori, it's a joke. It's a comedian. They say funny things. All right. It's a joke. Every Thursday is OJ Simpson Day. What we do on OJ Simpson Day is we go back and we highlight parts of the OJ Simpson trial for you, parts that I think are important to see. Why do I think they're important to see? Because you get to see some of the greatest criminal defense lawyers that have ever walked planet Earth do what they do best, do what they can do. They've got a client that could afford them. They leveled the playing field. For those of you that say, "Oh yeah, he just got off because he had expensive lawyers." Well, that doesn't mean you get off. What it means is that you get closer to leveling the playing field with the prosecution. The prosecution is trying to take away your freedom, if not your very life. So you should at least be able to hold the state to the burden of proof beyond a reasonable doubt that you did it. And Los Angeles spent about $9 million prosecuting OJ Simpson. OJ Simpson's lawyers they guess right around $6 million. So the County of Los Angeles spent $3 million more than OJ Simpson should have spent on his lawyers. And they still couldn't get a conviction. So money doesn't buy you your freedom. Funds, those resources allow you to come as close as possible to leveling the playing field against an essentially bottomless money well of prosecutorial excellence, I guess. So that's the deal here. That's what we look at. We looked at F. Lee Bailey cross-examining Dennis Furman. Amazing. Now what we're in the middle of watching BARRY SCHECK, founder of the Innocence Project, just completely dismantle criminologist Dennis Fung. This is our fourth time we're watching this, and we're just getting started. It takes about a month. It takes about 4 weeks for us to do one day. And heads up, they cross-examined Dennis Fung for 8.5 days on the stand. Just wrecked him. And we've seen BARRY SCHECK continuously wreck him for a full day. We're coming to the end of the first day of testimony, the first day of Dennis Fung's testimony. And he's already rattled. He's discombobulated. He's confused. He's making up shit as he goes along. He's being called out. He's being forced to admit things like he didn't even know a procedure. He's the criminologist. He's for Los Angeles. And he admitted on the stand he didn't even know there was a procedural manual, let alone he was supposed to have this procedural manual in his truck. He said in his affidavits, he said that he collected this evidence, he collected this blood spray, he did this, he did that, he did the other thing. Turns out it was actually his rookie trainee. This was like her fourth murder scene. She's collecting all of this stuff, not him, even though he put on his paperwork that he collected it. Then we have him not collecting what may be important pieces of paper laying right in front of him. It's just, it's one mistake after another, and we are just getting started. So that's where we're going today. Tomorrow we got a really, really interesting day. At some point in Thursday U.S. time, we're already almost in Friday Korea time. Some point in Thursday U.S. time, finally, more than a year after Alec Baldwin blew the cinematographer away and wounded the director, finally, sometime today, New Mexico is going to figure out and announce who they're going to charge criminally in the Rust movie shooting case. We're going to talk about that tomorrow. Who got indicted, who isn't getting charged, and why. So we'll be talking about that. We'll be giving some updates on the Idaho murders. They've released the subject of the search warrants. We'll go over the search warrant, see what they were looking for. And Brian, what we need to come up with, we need to find a good nickname for Brian that not everybody else is using. Brian Koberger, or Kerberger, whatever the F his name is. His defense lawyer in Pennsylvania is talking a lot. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to find out who was charged in the Rush shooting. We're going to be talking about Brian Koberger's, or Koberger, I guess his name is Brian Koberger's search warrant and his talking lawyer. But also, there's a new arraignment happening. There's a Brian Walsh. I'm not familiar with this guy's case, but I was watching Megan Fox talk with Steve Gosney about it this morning. And this was a total WTF case. Apparently, it involves international intelligence organizations. It involves apartment managers. This guy's accused of deleting his wife, and the shit that was being searched for on the internet, allegedly by this guy, is out of control. So yeah, Brian Walsh is being arraigned, and Brian Koberger is already indicted. But we're gonna have Megan Fox on tomorrow. Megan Fox will be here to tell us more about this Brian Walsh case. It is, from the part I heard her talking about with Steve Gosney, it was insane. And I'm out. Megan, cancel your morning schedule, whatever you're doing before your stream. You're coming on here and talking about that. So we'll be doing that, and then we'll be doing some other fun stuff, just kind of hanging around. So we'll get those three things out of the way. Then we'll have a Chill Friday stream. Friday night U.S. time, Flux, myself, and hopefully Hannah Franz will be doing our Unexplained show. We'll be doing that on my stream. We rotate everybody's channel, Hannah's channel, Flux's channel, my channel. We'll be doing my channel on Friday evening U.S. time. And then next Monday, hopefully, will be the start of the Murdaugh trial, which Legal Mindset and I will be tag teaming during that. Hopefully we're going to be able to find out where it's being broadcast. We're going to be doing that live and doing our usual shtick while we watch the trial. And however many weeks that takes is however many weeks we'll do it. And for those of you that are a fan of Maritime Monday, it looks like Monday the 27th, we will have Brick and Mortar creator, the guy that puts out a lot of the videos we watch. We're going to have him as a guest on the channel to talk about himself, why he does the things he does on his channel, why he does these disaster videos, how he goes, how much preparation he puts in. And then we'll sit down and we'll go through and watch one of his videos together and provide our dual comment. So there we go. That's a lot of stuff. Tony just got here. Where's the poll? I'm going to start the video, and then I'll do the poll once the video starts. So that's what we're going to do now. We're going to jump into the cross-examination of Dennis Fung by BARRY SCHECK. And where we're at now, the last thing that was happening was BARRY SCHECK was just dragging him across the coals, just struggling him with evidence that the crime scene was contaminated. And he was admitting to all kinds of horrible things that happened in that crime scene. And again, we're just getting started. So we got a lot to get through today. There's some bombshells that are coming through today, but there's always some bombshells in this case. It is nonstop 8.5 days pounding. And as some of you have already seen, there's some slow parts. You start and you're like, where is this questioning going? Where is he going with these rather mundane, boring questions? And then, a day later, a week later, what you see the steel trap close, and you see why these inane questions that were asked hours, if not days earlier, are important, and how you can walk someone down the path of admitting they're an absolute screw up. So, all right, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already done so. And if you have, hit the subscribe button. Make sure you're still subscribed. We are 2 subscribers away from 33,100 subscribers. Right now, we'll jump into the trial. We'll start this cross-examination. We're going to go back about 5 minutes from where we were last time so we can kind of catch up. And while we're doing that, I'll put up today's poll and we'll talk about it then. So everybody, get ready. Here comes day 4 for us, and it's the end of day 1 for poor old Dennis Fung. Whew. All right. And let me know how the balance is, if we need to boost the court volume, whatever we need to do, just kind of let me know, because again, what you hear is not what I hear, and I just have to go off what you tell me. So here we go.
All right. Now, you're having a conversation and we're laughing with a few gentlemen there. Do you know what that was about? Do you recall?
No, I don't.
And that man in the red hair, in the blue blazer, that's Chief
all right, I'm
Forensic
talking
Chemist
over
Johnson.
him. How
Is
does
that
it
correct?
sound? How
Yes,
is
it
the
is.
balance?
And at the time,
am I too loud?
that,
Is the
Mr.
court too
Goldman's
loud? Let me know
body
how
is
it
being
sounds.
moved now, and Detective Lang is walking through the scene. You're looking back. Do you recall seeing the location of the envelope, the glove, and the hat?
No, I don't.
Okay, now you see Detective Lang walking back through as the body's being taken away. I think we can cut it now. Thank you very much.
All right, we'll keep the balance right here. We're not going to crank it to 11.
Now, do you, have you ever heard the term close-in crime scene?
All right, so where we are now is you're just talking about everybody walking through the crime scene. This is a very tight crime scene. The place where Ron Goldman's body was found was about a 30-inch wide space, so about a little less than 1 meter wide space. And so it's very tight, but yet there's people walking around in there, and he's going to go through all of this. And while he's going through a little bit of it, I'll set up the poll.
Close-in crime scene?
Yes.
No.
Well, did you ever have a discussion with Detective Lang as to his approach to gathering evidence at this Bundy crime scene on the morning of June 13th?
I don't understand quite what you're getting at.
Well, when you arrived at the scene, you had a discussion with Detective Lang about the crime scene and how to proceed.
He gave me a briefing as to the type of evidence that he wanted collected and what he felt was important and what areas were preserved. Yes.
Did he ever express the view to you that this was a close-in crime scene where evidence was close to the victims, and that he had made a determination for that reason to remove the victims prior to collecting the evidence because of the fact that the evidence and the victims were close to each other?
I don't think he ever used that term close-in crime scene to.
Well, did he ever express the view to you that...
See, this is again, this Dennis, you're not helping yourself. The whole thing is, did he ever say because it's a close-in crime scene that he's going to remove the bodies before you collect evidence? In other words, some of the evidence is going to be moved, some of it's going to be disturbed, some of it's going to be moved around, some of it's going to be contaminated. That's the point he's making with, did they ever say this was a close-in crime scene and they were going to remove the bodies before collecting the evidence? And he's like, well, I don't think he called it a close-in crime scene. That's not the point, Fung. The point is, did you disturb the evidence? Did you literally remove bodies before collecting the evidence you're supposed to? That's what he's getting at. And Fung is sounding like an idiot because he's haggling over terms when he's just about to be crushed for disturbing a crime scene before collecting evidence.
The reason that it was appropriate to remove the bodies before collecting the evidence is that this was a close-in crime scene, or this was a crime scene where, since the bodies of the victims and the evidence were close together, it was sensible to remove the bodies before collecting the evidence.
Objection irrelevant, calls for hearsay.
Oh, well. Could you repeat the question again, please?
Sure. Did Detective Lang ever express the view to you that he thought it was appropriate at this crime scene to remove the victims prior to the evidence because the evidence was located close to the bodies of the victims?
He did not express that to me at the crime scene.
At some subsequent time, did he express that view to you?
Yes.
And when was that?
That was maybe a week or two later.
And that was on an occasion when you were having a discussion with him as to how he processed the crime scene?
Yes.
And on that occasion, did you express the view to him that it was extremely foolish to remove the bodies of the victims and drag it through the evidence at the Bundy crime scene before the evidence was collected?
Sustained.
Did you express the view?
Yeah, that was just a little argumentative, but boy, that's a classic case of you can't unring the bell. Did you express to him as extremely foolish to drag a body through a crime scene before collecting evidence? The jury cannot unhear that question, even though it was disallowed.
To Detective Lang that in your judgment as a criminalist, the evidence should have been collected before the bodies were removed, precisely because the evidence were close to the bodies?
I never said that to him, no.
Did you say anything to that effect to him?
I don't recall if I did or not.
In your opinion as a criminalist, Mr. Fung, isn't it just basic, fundamental principle that when the evidence are close to the bodies, that it's better for the criminalist to collect it, photograph it, document it before you remove the bodies?
All right, who is going to answer no to that question? Don't you think it'd be a really good idea to collect everything, label it, tag it, bag it, put it away, handle it properly before you go dragging bodies around a crime scene and moving stuff? Who is going to say no to that? Well, here's the cliffhanger. Dennis Fung has opened up his lips to give an answer, but first we've got to do two things. One, Michelle Cavernos starting us off with the super chats. Let's do this, mother funga. We see what she did there. Thanks for the super chat to kick us off. And we've got the poll going. We've got the poll. The poll is up right now. Today's like and subscribe poll. Everybody, sorry to do this again, but I was late, so I couldn't get it up already. It's never been a problem before. Here we go. Hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button. Make sure you're still subscribed. Then come on over here and take the poll. We have 261 concurrent viewers, 137 likes. So get over there and hit this and tell me how you smash that like button. Smash that like and subscribe button like BARRY SCHECK is smashing Fung. Smash the like and subscribe button like OJ smashed Nicole's best friend. Smash that like and subscribe button like OJ got smashed by his cellmate in prison. Just assuming there. And smash that like and subscribe button like Steve did it. I just threw that in because Steve does everything. All right. And it's not, Welcome to the Troublemaker Extraordinaire. It's not Brandon Lesko with, hi, first-time viewer. Did you tuck the poll away already? Hey, the poll is out at full staff for presentation. So everybody, smash my poll. Let's get back to this. Let's get back to the trial. Sorry.
There are many ways to process a crime scene, and I do not know all the factors that went into Detective Lang's decision.
Well, when you arrived at the Bundy crime scene and had a discussion with Detective Lang, weren't you at all concerned that the bodies were being removed when they were in such close proximity to the evidence that you were going to have to collect?
Yes.
Now, we just saw a picture where you're standing there with Chief Forensic Chemist Stephen Johnson.
Yes.
He's one of your supervisors.
Yes.
It did.
And you were standing there with other detectives.
Yes.
And you were standing around this crime scene while Mr. Goldman's body was being removed from the soil
No, I
caged-in
didn't.
area.
I just read it.
Yes.
And that opening between the gate and the beginning of the concrete stairwell is about 30 inches. Isn't it?
Approximately.
And didn't you have profound concerns that in moving Mr. Goldman's body through
Nice
that
Beavis and
area,
Butthead
they were
reference.
they were going to alter the condition of the glove and the hat and the envelope that was right against the tile?
Argument that this is profound concern.
Sustained. It's not
Did you have
argument,
a
it's vague.
concern that when they were,
You, Counsel,
I'm sorry.
when I speak and rule on an objection, just for the record, let me finish before you launch into the next question.
my apologies, Your Honor.
Sustained term is vague.
All right. Did you have a concern that when Mr. Goldman's body was going to be taken through this 30-inch area, that it could disturb, alter the prescription envelope, the glove, and the knit hat?
It's vague as to disturb, alter.
Overruled. All right, Mr. Scheck, I'm sorry, I need to interrupt you just for a moment. We need to take a brief comfort break.
Looking at a brief comfort break. Somebody's got to go to the bathroom. It looks like it might be Ito because he's the one going, yeah, smile, laugh, laugh, laugh. So yeah. Flux sending in another chat. You should also talk about the state of Georgia versus Denver Allen tomorrow. No, I've got plans for that. I have plans for that. That'll happen soon, but I've got plans for that. Don't worry. All righty.
All right, thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. Scheck.
Actually, the last question. Give that back. I'm sorry.
Last question was, did you have concern that when Mr. Goldman's body was going to be taken through the 30-inch area, that it could disturb
I've got a 30-inch area
or
for
alter
you.
the envelope containing the prescription eyeglasses, the glove, and the knit hat?
I did not have an opportunity to be concerned because Mr. Goldman
I'm
was
12.
moved by the time I got back from the crime scene truck.
But when you arrived, Mr. Goldman had been moved.
That's correct.
Did you
Max?
express concern to Detective Lang? Well, whatever you do, don't move Mr. Goldman's body or the body of the second victim there through this 30-inch area where you have the glove, the envelope, and the hat.
I don't believe I had an opportunity to speak with Detective Lang before that point.
Well, don't you think that was an important thing to tell him?
Your Honor, it's irrelevant.
Sustained.
Did you think at the time that that was a matter that should be brought to his attention?
Irrelevant.
That's overruled.
Wow, listen to that pause. Didn't you think it's important to tell him not to drag a body through a crime scene before you collect the evidence? He knows the only correct answer is, yeah, that was a really stupid thing to do. And now the hamsters are spinning and he's trying to find a way to not make him sound like a complete toolbox. And we've got a Max Mura sighting, everybody. Max Mura in the house. Haro, 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 everybody, not Funku fighting. Welcome, Max Mura. Love you, buddy. We'll see you tomorrow.
I had no idea he was going to move Mr. Goldman.
Well, were you shocked that he directed the coroners or permitted the coroners to move Mr. Goldman through that evidence?
Argument irrelevant.
Sustained.
Were you surprised?
Sustained.
Were you concerned when you saw that he had permitted the coroners or directed them to move Mr. Goldman's body through that evidence?
Same objection.
Overruled.
I was concerned, yes.
Did you express that concern to Chief Forensic Chemist Steve Johnson, who was standing right there?
Irrelevant.
Sustained.
Oh, did you see that? He funged up there. He funged up. Barry Scheck asked him a devastating question. He answered the question by doing this after his lawyer won an objection. Ow. That was a mishtuk right there. I wish we could like go back 10 seconds here, but we'll do our best.
Through that evidence?
Argumentative. Irrelevant.
Sustained.
Were you surprised?
Sustained.
Watch this when he does this after
Were
the
you
objection.
concerned?
Here we go.
When you saw that he had permitted the coroners or directed them to move Mr. Goldman's body through that evidence?
Same objection.
Overruled.
I was concerned, yes.
Did you
Here's the
express
question.
that concern to Chief Forensic Chemist Steve Johnson,
Did you
who was
express the
standing right
concern?
there?
Irrelevant.
Oh shit!
Sustained.
I shouldn't have nodded my head.
Chief Forensic Chemist Johnson, to your knowledge, say anything to you about it?
No.
Did you say anything to him about it?
Yes, I did.
What did you say?
I asked him about the moving of the bodies.
You expressed concern that that was a bad idea.
I expressed to him that I was concerned about it, yes.
Ouch.
And to your knowledge, he never did anything about it.
Irrelevant.
Sustained.
To your knowledge, did he do anything about it?
Your Honor, it's irrelevant.
Sustained.
Now, one of the start this way. Your Honor, I've queued up two pictures that I've shown to the prosecutor of the glove, and I'd like, with the court's permission, to show them to the witness.
And real quickly, Malcolm Wilhelm says legal advices for future reference. Hitting the J key on your keyboard will go back 10 seconds in the video. This isn't YouTube. This is Court TV's website. J doesn't go back. That's why I was saying that. I know that J and the arrow keys and all that do that. I've used a computer before, but yeah, it doesn't do it on the embedded videos in Court TV's own website. So that's why I have to be extra careful.
And to the jury.
Like 3 times. That counts, doesn't it? Yes, it does. All right. We've got the...
Mr. Fung, as I guess I'm looking at it here, to the left is a photograph of the glove and the hat with an evidence tag that says 102, correct?
I can't make out the hat from the screen, but I do see the glove.
See the glove. Do you look carefully?
On the
corner.
right, I
Yeah.
see a very dark area next to the glove. I can't make it out as a hat, though.
All right. And to the picture to the right, with the picture of the finger pointing at the glove, you see that?
Yes.
You've seen that picture before, correct?
Today, yes.
All right. You seen any picture like that before with a finger pointing at the glove, perhaps in the grand jury?
Perhaps, but I don't remember it.
Well, at any time prior to coming into this courtroom, have you seen that picture? Or a picture like depicting the glove in that position?
Your Honor, we've gone over this and it's irrelevant.
We have. We've gone over this.
All right.
He's identified what it is.
Okay. My question to you, sir, is, isn't it clear to you
that you suck.
that the picture on the right, the one with the finger pointing at the glove is in a different position than the one to the left?
Yes.
The glove's been turned around completely, hasn't it?
It is.
All right. This is setting up a battle here. The glove is in 2 completely different positions in 2 different photographs. That is really, really bad when you're trying to convince the jury that you didn't do anything wrong. Oh, Michelle says, damn, that's a lot of blood. That's one little fraction of the blood bath. There's a huge, go take like, what, 4 liters of water and pour it on your floor. And the spread is amazing. And then times that by 2 bodies. There was a ton of blood there. But yeah.
It's in a different position, yes.
Well, could you describe the differences?
You know, this violates the best evidence rule. Picture speaks for itself.
Now I'm gonna just for YouTube, I'm gonna make this smaller here.
On the picture on the right, the opening or wrist portion appears to be towards the pavement, and in the picture on the left, the glove
YouTube doesn't like pictures like this, so
is in a different position with the wrist and another
wish I could just get rid of the picture and just the
orientation.
audio.
And
Yeah,
there's
so-
some debris.
Let me see counsel without the recorder.
all right. Yeah, YouTube doesn't like
All right,
pictures
this
like that very much.
side-by-side photo image will mark as 1075, defense exhibit 1075.
You see in the picture to the left, the one with the evidence marker on it,
There was a
what
plethora
appear to
of
be drag marks.
You mean coming from the upper left-hand corner?
Yes.
Could be, yes.
And you see debris now on top of the tiles.
yeah.
I see what appear to be leaves on the tiles.
Now, has this discrepancy ever been pointed out to you before you came into this courtroom?
I haven't seen the picture, or I don't recall seeing the picture on the right, so no.
No one has ever, it has never come to your attention before coming into this courtroom that the picture of the glove on the right that was taken before you arrived at the crime scene showed the glove in a different position than the picture that you directed be taken on June 13th.
It's never been brought to my attention, no.
Has anybody, did it,
Listen to this. He's saying he as the criminologist
Did you inquire
never
of
noticed
anybody
that the
on
glove
June
had
13th
changed positions.
when you took the picture on the left, whether or not the glove had been moved into a different position than it originally was after Mr. Goldman's body had been removed?
I assumed they had not been moved.
I'm sorry?
I assumed that they had not been moved.
You assumed that they had not been moved.
That's right.
Well, you told us before that you had a concern that the glove and the envelope and the hat might be moved when Mr. Goldman's body was taken away. Didn't you?
That misstates the evidence.
Sustained.
All right. After you saw Mr. Goldman's body being removed, did you make inquiry of Detective Lang as to whether or not the glove was in the same place as it was before?
I mean, this is so bad. This is really, it's bad. Really, really bad. I'm bad. Yeah, it's bad. Not only was the crime scene disturbed, not only was the glove in a completely different place, in a completely different position in these 2 pictures, there's drag marks showing the bodies being drug around. And until pretty much this moment, until he testifies, the head criminologist had no idea that the glove had been moved. That looks really, really bad when the prosecution is harping on evidence being planted, evidence being tampered with, and the prosecution trying to prove that's not the case. Well, now they have photographic evidence of the crime scene being disturbed and messed with. And dude here didn't even know.
Before Mr. Goldman's body was removed.
No.
It's irrelevant.
Sustained.
From the moment you arrived at the Bundy crime scene to the moment that you've seen these pictures in the courtroom, do you ever recall seeing the glove in a different position than is depicted in these photographs?
At the scene, the glove at the scene.
Glove at the scene.
I remember the glove being in the position that it is with the identification card next to it.
The 102 photograph.
Yes,
You never saw the glove in any different position prior to the time it was collected.
I don't recall it being in a different position, no.
You never saw that glove on top of the tiles.
On the walkway?
Yeah.
No,
You ever saw that glove on or near the blanket?
I don't recall, no.
I'd like to show you a video, Mr. Fung.
No, let's watch a video. Why not?
Do you recall, while we're setting this up, do you recall that Detective Van Adder arrived at the crime scene that morning at Bundy?
I don't recall if it was in the morning or in the afternoon, but he did make a brief stopover.
And when he stopped by, he walked up the stairs and had a brief talk with you at some point?
He may have, I don't recall.
And you recall that Chief Forensic Chemist Johnson at some point walked up that stairwell at Bundy?
At some point he did, yes.
And do you recall that those two gentlemen walked up there before the gloves and the knit hat were collected?
I don't recall if it was before or after.
Do you recall putting
I checked, this is the foods effect on evidence gloves.
glove,
Sustained.
glove, the Bundy glove? My apology.
All right, rephrase the question.
The Bundy glove. Do you remember putting down evidence cards near the glove and the hat and the envelope prior to their collection,
Yes.
prior to the photograph being taken?
Prior?
Yes,
Yes.
you did that.
Yes.
Oh,
I'd like to show you some video.
all right. Sorry for this interruption. Meme Copium has a beautiful way of derailing my entire stream with the news that reports that Carol Baskin of Tiger King fame's husband has been found alive and was not actually eaten by tigers. But she is the only one saying. She's saying he was found alive and well in Costa Rica. But before you all get too excited, the sheriff has said, we haven't heard anything about this. We haven't confirmed anything. He's still missing. Yeah, the Florida Sheriff's Office, where she is, has said, no. We haven't heard anything about that. And if she's spreading the news that her husband's alive in Costa Rica and he's really not, that's going to look extra bad for her. Yeah, these are her reports, according to her. But the sheriff is saying, no. News to me. Haven't heard it. He's still missing as far as we know. So, all right. He's not, Don Lewis has not been officially found alive in Costa Rica yet. All right. Let's get back to Dennis getting funged up.
Yeah, perhaps I could see this first. I'm not sure what he's about to play.
All right. How long is this segment?
That's why they say never date a man that owns a pig farm. They do say that, don't they? All right, here's some video evidence that's important. Let's play a little game. Let's do that game where they give you 2 minutes to look at a photograph or look at something and identify everything that's going on in the picture and recreate it later. Study this really close while I read this one super chat from It's Not Brandon. Let's go. Jeff, I think your poll is a bit too narrow for the audience. Can you flesh it out a bit more, please? Thanks, Brando. I've never had that complaint before. The fact that you think my poll is a little too narrow and needs to be fleshed out says more about you than it says about me. Just say it. God damn it. Don't say things like that. Oh, nobody's walking through there, are they? Nobody's just walking through there without covering on their boots, are they? Nobody's just standing in the middle of a freaking crime scene, are they? Ugh.
I think we need to approach.
Oh, Marcia. Look at that. Marcia's like, and Your Honor, I think we need to approach. This is the oh crap. Oh crap, we're in trouble. That's what that look is. Let's go back. Watch poor Marcia here. Poor girl. And stunned prosecutor. I don't want to go back too far. Damn, this is delicate work. All right. Watch Marcia here. No.
I think we need to approach.
All right, counsel.
Gotcha, bitch.
Please, that reaction's not necessary. All right, ladies and gentlemen, as far as the jury is concerned, we're going to take a recess for the afternoon session at this time. Please remember all of my admonitions to you. Do not discuss the case amongst yourselves, form any opinions about the case. Do not conduct any deliberations until the matter has been submitted to you. Do not allow anybody to communicate with you with regards to the case. As far as the jury is concerned, we will stand in recess until tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. Mr. Fung, you may step down. You're ordered to return tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. All right, we also have motions on, so as soon as we clear the jury, we'll resume with this evidence and motions.
By the defense.
All right. Is it
Oh, dear.
possible, after we conclude, is Mr. Harris available to exhibit these matters to Mr. Goldberg?
Yes, Your Honor, I represent to you that there's two sets of videos. And if Mr. Goldberg and the prosecution look, they'll see two versions of this. One that is as depicted here, and another one that has the counter on it.
Mhm.
We chose the one without the counter on it because it gives it a view that is unobstructed by the counter. But I'm confident that if they go back and look at the video, they will see this.
Well, the problem may be, as I was about to say, that because it's edited into three separate segments that are arranged in some chronological order by the defense, it may be that I'm not recognizing one of those three sequences. But we object to the sequencing itself, and that I think what counsel's trying to portray is some sort of historical view of what happened at that crime scene in the chronological order. And this video tape that has been apparently edited does not do that, because it's showing three distinct things.
Mr. Scheck?
Your Honor, I think that what this video depicts is, and Mr. Goldberg can go back and look and consult with the original footage as much as possible. But I think there is an object on that screen that we believe could well be the glove that's on the walkway near the blanket. And it's there during these periods of time when Mr. Van Atter is walking through, at what I think is consistent with his testimony at about 9:45 when he's going to consult Detective Lang for the warrant. We have other footage of Mr. Fung and Detective Van Atter conversing. They can look at that. Mr. Johnson, the witness testified, walked through the crime scene. I think there's a clear picture of that. And finally, we have Mr. Fung placing down the exhibits. This seemed to be the most expeditious way to zero in on the issue and ask him if he knows what that object
All right, so
is.
you're saying that one of these videos is going to have something that appears to be the glove on the walkway.
So what he's saying here is that the glove was wherever it was to begin with. Then they started moving things around, dragging bodies through, and they moved the glove to a completely separate location. And then after they cleared off all the bodies and stuff, then they put the glove back right about where they thought it was originally. That's what he's arguing here. And the prosecution is freaking out about that.
Well, I think all three of them do. That's
All right,
our position, where we want to
let's
certainly
see
make an
again.
inquiry. We want to make an inquiry as to what that object is, because it looks to us like the glove, and we want the witness's best recollection and view as to what that object is. That's the purpose of showing him these.
Let's see it again. Is this in some type of order chronologically?
To the best we can reconstruct it, it is. But I think that the important point, and we could make this clear to the jury, is that all of these shots are taken at a point prior to the time that Mr. Fung sets down the cards, the photographs are taken, and the glove is collected.
All right, let's have a look again.
We'll get there in a second, Brandon.
On the
Let's
side of
go.
the screen, Your Honor,
I do.
we contend that's the glove.
All right, well, they're contending it's the glove. We don't want...
Goes in and out of focus. We think that's clearly in a position either on or near the blanket, inside the tiles. We stopped it there, so we want to have Mr. Fung take a look at that. He's previously seen this footage, but perhaps he didn't notice it. Can we show the next one?
I didn't dodge your super chat. I read both of them.
Next one that I believe is
The
Detective
fleshing it
Van
out
Adder
one I
walking
read,
through.
and I read the first one. The did you tuck the pole away
I think
already?
the same object can
I
be
read
seen
them
near
both.
his feet. Finally, we have Mr. Fung placing down the cards, and I think in that shot you can see the object in the same position as when Mr. Johnson and Detective Van Adder were walking through with Mr. Fung putting down the evidence card.
So you're going to ask him, what is that?
That's right.
Okay. All right, Mr. Goldberg, any further comment?
Any questions? Anybody else got any questions?
It's still photographs.
Look at that. They've got actual photographs there. This was so long ago, 1995. They literally have a binder full of photographs.
We could take this up in the morning, so I could have an opportunity to take a closer look at still photographs and also the video.
Take it up at 8:30. 8:30. I'm sorry?
We see it one more time.
All right, well, how about if we do this? I have a whole panoply of media motions to address.
A whole panoply of media motions? Panoply? How many emotions would you say is a panoply? Anywho, so now, chat, you guys have got to make a choice here. Now is chat choice time. What happens next is they end for the day. And the following morning, 2 jurors are sick. So they won't have court that day. They won't have court that day because 2 jurors are sick. But they do argue motions. They argue about this video and these photographs for about 40 minutes. Do you want to watch them argue about the photographs and the admissibility of the photographs, where Barry's talking about how they're in different places, different locations, and all of these other problems with the evidence, placing markers in different locations? Or do we want to skip all that and go straight back to Fung? If you want to watch 40 minutes, which will probably take us through the most of the rest of this particular live stream, hit 1 if you want us just to skip all the lawyer nonsense and get back to Dennis Fung's testimony. Give me a 2 in chat. 1 to watch this argument about the videos and the photographs. 2 if we want to go straight ahead to Fung. Let the good times roll in chat. 1 for the argument, 2 to skip. So far the 2s are winning. We'll give it another 10 seconds. No. Justin Flux 69 is not an answer. Nor is 94. All right, looks like the 2s win. So we will skip the motions. We'll skip the arguing about the photographs, and we'll go straight into. Did I just close it? Oh, good, I didn't. I thought I just closed the one I actually wanted to go to. All right, the 2s have it. So before we jump back in, we'll clear up some super chats. Kara says, I'm not surprised it took so long for CSI to learn to wear gloves, since apparently it took until the pandemic for people to be told that they should wash their hands. Fair argument, I guess. I guess that's fair. Yeah, we're kind of dumb. Michelle Cavern's legal advice is, what is the best evidence rule? Is some evidence better than others? Well, the best evidence rule, essentially, very, very briefly, is you have to present the best evidence of something that is available to you. Like if I have a photocopy of something and I have the original document, then the best evidence would be the original document, not the copy of the document. So that's kind of what it is. It's like the best piece of evidence you have to show what you want to show. The originals are better than copies. Videos better than audio, things like that. And it's not Brandon Lesko. I'll give you $5 gross. Yeah, thank you. If you explain who Steve is to me. Steve is the mysterious guy who does everything and kills everybody. It started out being a vague reference to the father of one of the Idaho victims, who conspiracy theorists were saying that maybe he did it, maybe he whacked all the students, including his own child. But that was promptly shut down. His name was Steve. Somehow that morphed to Steve Gosney, our local favorite here, our Florida lawyer, who's also named Steve, who weirdly has a K-bar, but can't find it since the murders in Idaho occurred. And that just sort of morphed into a meme where anything that goes wrong, Steve did it. So Steve is just the random ethereal bad guy who seems to do everything. Yeah, ABS always blames Steve. Yeah, so it went from what the fathers of one of the victims to Gosney. Now he's just the random guy, Steve. He's like Kilroy. He's the Kilroy of our generation. He morphed into it. Yeah. So that's the explanation of Steve. All right, let's jump into the next section of the video here. We'll go for a little bit, then we'll do our midstream grift. Oh, and by the way, we just need one more subscriber to hit 33,100 subscribers. Steve has done everything since killing his brother Abel. Pretty much. I have to agree with that. All right. A day has passed. Fung is back. And here we are. They still argue a little bit here at the beginning for about 5 minutes.
The item that the defense contends may be the glove. And the
Technology
basis of this
settings.
objection was not discovered until quite recently, in fact, last night, and is stated in a declaration that we just filed with the court of a videotape engineer who took a look at this video.
A videotape engineer. That sounds like a really important job in 1995, doesn't it? Being a videotape engineer.
I'm not sure that I can, I hope I'm not misstating what's in the declaration because I don't understand all the technical jargon. But apparently, most news organizations shoot their tapes on beta. And what we have is a VHS tape. And the clarity of the beta tape is apparently much greater than with a VHS tape.
Remember when the Japanese tried to convince everybody that beta was so much better than VHS, which is true, but it just didn't work out. Poor beta. It's like literally degrees of magnitude better than VHS, but nobody wanted those weird sized tapes on their shelf. VHS versus beta. Yeah, that was such a huge debate back then. And beta lost hard, but beta certainly should have won. It's all Max Murrah's fault. Max Murrah, he specifically did the anti-terrorism for the beta. He purposely sunk the beta tape for us all. Don't deny it, Max Murrah. We know it was you. You're behind the failure of beta. Yeah, I never had a laser disc. We never had the money for a laser disc, but you just keep them in your albums and they worked fine. But anyway, yeah, that was the thing. Sorry to derail us, but I haven't heard anybody mention beta in a bajillion years.
So there is a best evidence rule objection in the sense that we have been provided with what is a copy that is not as good and would not have the same resolution as the original. Therefore, we have two requests that we'd ask. Number one, that if the defense has the beta version, they should be required to play that or utilize that if they are going to use this tape. If they don't have it, then they have to make a showing under the best evidence rule as to why they don't and why it's not available. And if the court...
Now here they're arguing that legally they should be required to show beta, and if they don't have the beta tape, then it shouldn't be allowed.
Is inclined somehow to, if they can make such a showing, the prosecution should be entitled to get the information from the defense as to where the tape came from. So hopefully we can track down the beta version. Also, apparently it's easier to enhance a beta tape than the VHS tape, which is, I think, also stated in this declaration.
All right, Mr. Scheck.
Your Honor, we gave over to the court the original VHS copy that we have, so we don't have any beta tapes. It doesn't indicate that the prosecution knows for sure that there is an original beta tape. Obviously, as I indicated to the court the other day, from our position...
Yeah, but no commercial video enterprise uses VHS as the original format.
No, the court...
See, isn't that fascinating? Again, this is just time capsule shit here. Literally, all video production was done on beta. But the consumer, Joe Consumer, was such an idiot that somehow they fell sway to the mind games that the VHS pushers were pushing on you. Like literally the commercials and all the advertisements used to convince people to buy VHS were made on beta. This is some cool old, just regular old time capsule stuff that I find amusing.
Which has always made me wonder why VHS beat out beta, but that's another.
And that was a reference to the prawn.
That's the point. And this is the best copy that we have, and we think we should be allowed to offer it.
I just need you to be black and female
for that purpose. And as I
Brandon,
indicated to the
do you
court,
love black
Do you know
people?
which news organization this copy came from?
Gee, I don't. And as a matter of fact, there are two versions of this, as I indicated on the big compilations. One that has the counter on it, and the other one that does not.
That's literally why VHS won.
One of them I even think
the
may even
prawn
have
industry.
a little logo in it indicating one of the networks. But our position is simply that this is the best we have. We've turned over the best copy we have to the prosecutors. And with respect to these tapes and all other tapes of how collection was done at the crime scene, we would join with the prosecution, I'm sure, in asking the news organizations to turn over. I made this plea before. Everything. I mean, they don't. They won't give us outtakes, but everything they have, the best versions that we have, because we're not interested in misleading anybody. We looked at the tape. We saw what we saw. That's the best we can do.
All right, Mr. Goldberg, any response to that?
Well, under the rule, the best evidence rule, you are allowed, generally speaking, to introduce a copy instead of the original, but you generally have to make a showing that you don't have the original and why you don't have it. Now counsel apparently have compiled these clippings from news organizations. They got them in some manner, in some way. They didn't just simply materialize in the offices of the defense in this case. We are entitled to know if they are going to use a copy. At the very least, we are entitled to know and have a representation as to precisely where they came from and how they were compiled, so that the people, at the very least, can be permitted the option of then trying to track down the beta version of this tape.
All right.
Well, there's a good explanation
Mr.
of the
Scheck,
best
can you
evidence
provide
rule
us
for
with
you.
the source of this clip?
And Kitty asks, why are they using media tapes? The cops didn't take a video. Well, they did. They just didn't catch very much. They didn't catch the right things, and they certainly didn't catch everybody walking through crime scenes.
Well, let me ask you this, Mr. Scheck. Is that information available somewhere in the defense team where it came from? This clip?
We would have to sit. What we did is put all of them together, and we'd have to sit down and disaggregate them and look at them and try to make our best estimation going back through all the records. But we went through this before in putting these clips together for the court and for the district attorney. They've had it for months. They were looking at the same
No,
thing.
the
I was
fact that
looking
they
at.
have it is one thing. Where it came from, the source of that is another question.
I understand. I mean,
Foundation,
Can you
objection,
make that
grounds.
information available to them by tomorrow morning?
Eva Torres. Oh my God, that fro is godlike.
Mr. Cochran.
No, you're handling this part,
Oh, I'm
Mr. Scheck. Simple question. Can you make that information available to them?
we'll make our best efforts to find out exactly where we got all this, and
All right.
we'll tell them. But I can certainly represent to the court that we gave you the best copy we had. That is the best copy we had. That's the only one available to us. And if the news organizations want to make more available, that would be terrific. But I think we satisfy the best evidence rule just on the face of it, because this is the best
Right.
available copy.
Ms. Hazlett, would you make an inquiry of the news organizations, and if anybody recognizes this videotape as their product that they turned over, we'd like to see the original beta. format.
Beta. I
All
can
right,
never
objection
stop saying
overruled.
beta.
Let's have the jury, please.
All right, let's bring the jury in and get back to
Record to
our
reflect, Mr.
fun
Dennis Fung
business.
is on the witness stand again. Mr. Fung, good morning, sir.
Good morning.
You reminded you were still under oath, sir. And Mr. Scheck, you may resume and complete your cross-examination.
I'll make my best effort.
Thank you, sir. You have the morning.
Listen to that shiz. This is Judge Ito telling him, wrap it up, Shaq. Did you hear the way he emphasized you have your time to complete your cross-examination? You have the morning.
I'm sorry?
You have the morning.
Oh, I'm sure I'll be into the afternoon.
That's funny. That little you judge is telling you have to wrap up your cross-examination this morning. Ooh, I think we'll go a little bit beyond this morning into the afternoon. They went 6 or 7 more days. They went 7 more days, and Fung wanted to wrap it up that morning. Oh, gee. I mean, Ito wanted to wrap it up. Fung wanted it to wrap up like 3 minutes after it started. But yeah, suck it, Ito. we're not going to be finished this morning. Not even going to be finished in the afternoon. We're going to be finished like 7 days from now. Oof.
Morning, ladies and gentlemen of the jury. Morning, Mr. Fung. How are you, sir?
Morning.
When we left, if we were discussing the glove at Bundy, you recall that?
Yes.
All right, and just to review a little bit, Mr. Harris, you put up the.
It's not Brandon Lesko. Ba ba ba.
I'd like to show you on the screen. You recall seeing these pictures before of the Bundy glove.
Yes.
All right, and Mr. Scheck, which defense exhibit is side by side? Which one is this? Is this 1075?
1075.
All right.
Now, Mr. Fung, if we could look at the picture to the right, the one with the finger pointing at the glove. You see that, sir?
Yes, I do.
All right. Why don't we designate that position number 1? Fair enough?
Yes.
All right. And let's look at
All
the
hail
left,
the volume appropriate. goat.
and that's the picture with the evidence tag, correct?
Yes.
And why don't we designate that position number 2? Okay.
Yes.
Now, turning to position number 1, you remember I showed you that photograph last Thursday and asked you if you had seen it in the grand jury. Remember that?
I remember that.
All right. And you indicated that you didn't think you had.
I indicated that I didn't remember seeing it.
Right. And have you since then gone back, spoken with the district attorneys, looked at the grand jury exhibit and refreshed your recollection?
Yes.
Ouch. That hurts. That hurts bad. Do you remember you said do you remember doing this? Yeah. Do you remember saying you didn't remember doing it? Yeah, I remember I didn't do it. Well, now after you talked to the prosecutor, looked at the grand jury testimony, now do you remember it? Yeah. Busted.
And you did, in fact, see that photograph in the grand jury, didn't you?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So those are the 2 positions from which you saw the glove in photographs. Is that correct?
Yes.
Now, before we left on Thursday afternoon, just as we broke, you were shown a videotape, were you not?
Yes.
All right. 3 different segments. I would ask now, Your Honor, that.
All right. I think we need a little bit of a background here. Sorry. First of all, advocate asks, why did this trial take months? It took 9 months. Well, it took over a year of trial time, but the jury was sequestered for 256 days, so like 9 months. When other trials we've watched took about a week or so. High profile. This was probably the most high profile murder case since the Lindbergh baby was kidnapped. Yeah, it was just, that's kind of it. There was a lot to talk about, a lot to argue about. And they had the money for it. So they went for it, I guess. But now what was the 37 minutes we just skipped? They were talking about how BARRY SCHECK was going on about how the glove started here. It shows up over there. Bodies have been drugged through. Apparently at some point you had to have picked this glove up and put it down. And there's also like the number, the evidence markers they put down. Some of those were in different positions. And the prosecution didn't want that to come in. They said it was irrelevant because the original crime scene photos showed the position they were in. So whether they got moved and put back wasn't relevant. BARRY SCHECK, if I remember correctly, was making arguments that the jury has the right to know what happened to that evidence between this picture and this picture. If nothing suspicious happened, let the prosecution say it. But you cannot hide this type of information. You can't hide from the jury the fact that the evidence has been tampered with, the crime scene has been violated, and everything looks basically kind of like it did before they started dragging bodies through without collecting evidence. And Barry won. He won the arguments. And that's why we get to talk about it here. And this is why Fung gets uncomfortable.
Mr. Harris be permitted to play those.
Yes. Have we marked that yet? Next in order, 1078.
Is there a... Let me approach Your Honor. I don't know if this will work, but
I don't think the pointer is going to, do you have the laser?
Oh, yeah.
okay.
They just, and they moved the gloves around and they tried to put them back where they thought they were located. Yeah, there's drag marks. And then on the video they just talked about,
And be
which they're
careful
going to
when you
show
point that.
again. You've got detectives standing with their bare shoes on in the middle of the crime scene.
Mr.
You've
Harris.
got other people, reporters. You got lots of people walking through the crime scene. It's bad, very, very bad.
Now, do you recognize this as a picture of Detective Van Adder walking up? Now,
I can't identify who that person is.
okay. Now, do you see the object that I'm circling with this light pen?
I object as soon as you patent on evidence if it is an object.
Oh, well,
Do you see that?
Did you hear that objection? And this is the whole thing they argued about, whether that object that's in here is the glove in the wrong location. And BARRY SCHECK wants to ask him, what is that object? Judge Ito says, okay, you get to ask him. And now as soon as he says that thing I'm circling with the light pen, that object, it's like objection. It hasn't been established that it's an object. He literally made the objection that the object assumes a fact not in evidence. It hasn't been proven it was an object. When that's what we're trying to do, determine what kind of an object it was.
I see a dark spot on the
Okay.
video, yes.
Would you agree that that looks to be brown?
Your Honor, it's irrelevant what you think is the best evidence.
oh, well,
To me, it just appears dark.
Does it
I
look
don't see any brown color there.
Does it appear to be three-dimensional to you?
Irrelevant.
oh, well.
I can't determine from the video if it is or not.
Okay. You see that object again now that I'm circling with the light pen?
I see a dark area that you're
All right.
circling.
In your view,
For the record, this is a second clip segment.
yes. We're stopping that now. Again, does that appear to you to be brown and three-dimensional?
Brown and three-dimensional.
Appears to be a dark area on the video.
You wouldn't say it's three-dimensional?
I couldn't tell from the video, no.
Okay.
All right, segment 3.
Now, this appears to be you putting down evidence tags, correct?
Yes,
All right. And you still see that same object that I'm pointing to in the light pen? You saw that?
go do it again.
All right. Can we run that again? Now let me show you a still of that shot. Again, looking at that, would you agree, or do you agree, that that looks to be a brown three-dimensional object?
Appears to be a dark object or a dark area on the video.
Now, if that,
Segment 3.
segment 3. Now, if that were the glove, Mr. Fung, that would be a third position, would it not?
Your Honor, I apologize.
A little bit of a
Sustained.
speculation there.
Well, when we broke from court on Thursday, you came back the next morning, is that correct? And it was Wednesday, actually. Thursday. Came back to court the next morning, correct?
Yes.
All right. Now, that evening, did you look at these videotapes with great care?
The Wednesday evening?
Yeah.
Yes, I did look at them.
All right. And with whom did you look at them?
There were other people in the office. I don't recall all of them.
About how many times do you think you looked at them that evening?
20.
Then when you came down the next morning in court, you reviewed them again, did you not, on these monitors?
When I came down in court the next day, there was an enhanced version, and I looked at them here, yes.
And you reviewed it with Mr. Goldberg?
What do you mean reviewed?
Well, you were looking at the tapes from various angles and photographs with Mr. Goldberg,
Yes,
with Ms. Clark.
she was present.
She wasn't sitting by the monitor with you looking at it?
She may have been, but
Mr. Harmon,
yes,
Mr. George Clark,
yes.
Mr. Darden,
I don't recall if Mr. Darden's here or not.
the gentleman Jonathan Fartlow from Decision
Fairlow.
Quest.
Fairlow.
Fairlow, I'm sorry.
Yes,
Fartlow.
You looked at it in slow motion.
yes,
You examined various photographs.
yes.
Now, were you shown Can I have this photograph marked defendants next in order?
1079. Yes, 1079. Have you shown that to counsel? Have you shown that to counsel?
Yes.
Fung looks tired.
Mrs. Robinson is marking 1079, a photograph.
Fung doesn't even want to look at the picture.
Your Honor, I think this was already marked for the record.
There appears to be a sticker on the back. Is that a evidence?
Yeah, that's a defendant sticker for the. You shown, among others, that photograph?
Yes,
Commissioner, I'd like to put this on the Elmo.
Yes.
No, we can't fast forward through this, Ralph. This is actually really, really important. As I was saying, there's some slow parts, but all of this is going to come back real soon against him. This is all actually really
Suggested
important.
to you after seeing this picture that that object on the videotape that you will not agree with me is brown and three-dimensional was not really the glove, but was green or yellow leaves.
Your Honor, it's on the internet.
Sustained.
Did anybody show you this picture and suggest to you that what was on the videotape was not the glove in a third position, but green and yellow leaves?
nobody made that suggestion to me. They asked me to look at the videotape and look at different photographs.
Well, was there any discussion? It's not the glove, it's green and yellow leaves.
Nobody said that, no.
Yep. Couldn't be green and yellow leaves. Wouldn't you agree with Mr. Fung?
Excuse me?
That calls for an expert opinion.
Or will.
What we saw on that videotape, that object you and I were discussing, the one that you will not agree is brown and three-dimensional. Would you not agree with me
I'll
that?
have to rephrase that question, Counsel.
Would you agree that the object that we saw on the videotape could not be those green and yellow leaves?
I can't agree to that, no.
You think it could be
Could be what?
green and yellow leaves?
From the angle and the distance of that camera and from the poor resolution of the videotape itself, I can't make that determination.
Okay. You noticed in the photograph that in the videotape that the object had a little white tag in it, didn't you? Or a little white spot?
In the state's testimony about
Sustained.
Now, did you read the next day Detective Lang quoted in the Los Angeles Times about what he thought that object was?
I haven't read the LA Times for over a week.
I understand.
Your Honor,
Did-
I believe this one.
Or will.
Now, did you speak about what this object could be on the videotape with Detective Lang?
I don't think there was any discussion, no. He was present during some portion of the watching.
Well, did Detective Lang ever tell you that that object on the videotape was not the glove? It was actually the dark blood by the blanket that somehow was changed by the angle of the lens, and that's how it could be explained? He say something like that to you?
Not to me, no.
I like how when he knows the answer to the question, he gets this he gets the Columbo confused face. Like, didn't he ever say that it was like this? When he knows the answer is yes, and Fung is trying so desperately not to. I mean, he won't even admit that an object on the stairs is an object, and it's uncomfortable and it looks horrible to the jury. Brandon Lesko. Well, no, sorry, this is Lesko Brandon. What part of the Brandon Collective? Member for 4 months of the Clean and Sober crew, sending out a test message. Test. We've got your test. Thank you very much. And it's not Brandon Lesko, says also part of the Brandon Collective. Well, then I'm changing my opinion. This is back when we were talking about dragging bodies through the crime scene. I'm changing my opinion on this entire thing. I'm only 40, so I was very naive when casting my first judgment. Murder, but not guilty. There's a lot of people in your camp that believe that may be the case. He did it. The prosecution just effed it up. And let's do the midstream grift. We're a little late for the midstream grift, but we'll do it anyway. 422 concurrent viewers, 310 likes, 33,097 subscribers. We lost 2 during the show. Hit the like button. Make sure you're subscribed. If you're not, hit the subscribe button. If you have been previously subscribed, double check to make sure you are still subscribed. And then come over here and take today's poll. Today's poll is smash that like and subscribe button. Like, currently in 4th place, like OJ got smashed by his cellmate. Coming in at 3rd place, smash that like and subscribe button like OJ smashed Nicole's best friend. Coming in at 3rd place. Coming in at 2nd place. Smash that like and subscribe button like BARRY SCHECK is smashing Fung. And the last one in number one position, smash and like that subscribe. Wait, smash that like and subscribe button like Steve did it. 42% of you said you smashed the like and subscribe like Steve did it. All right, that's it. Hit the like, hit the subscribe, and take the poll, and we'll see how it ends here in about 35, 40 minutes from now. All right, let's get back to the Fung job and the confused expression on BARRY SCHECK's face after saying, didn't Detective Van Adder say that that thing that we think is the glove was some blood. It was like on a blanket. That there was some light refracting off of it, and the lens was looking at it differently. So that's why it looks like a glove.
I did overhear something like that.
Well, who suggested that one to you?
That was never suggested to me directly.
Well, how did you hear about it indirectly?
I was in a different area and I overheard that comment.
Now, you know that that object on the videotape can't be explained away by any of these things, don't you?
Your Honor, it's hard to say.
Sustained.
You know it's the glove, don't you?
I don't know that.
You know it's the glove and you just got caught by this videotape, isn't that right?
Your Honor, that's-
Oh,
Sustained.
All right, Mr. Fung,
oh,
why don't we talk
That
about
was
the
brutal.
envelope for a minute? Two previously marked exhibits in the
now this here is where we begin a rather epic beatdown of Dennis Fung. This is one of the highlights of the trial. Coming up, it's going to be a slow burn. It doesn't happen right now. But this is the beginning. This is where we're laying the foundation for a huge moment in the trial.
putting them side by side and showing them to counsel.
All right, which exhibits are these?
One of them is 1079, the one we just marked, and the other one is the overall picture of Detective Furman pointing to the glove in the envelope as we're searching for that number.
This envelope becomes really key over the next few days of his testimony.
Showing it to counsel on his monitor before we display it to the jury.
All right, I need to have an exhibit number.
Yes.
Your Honor, I'll object to cropping the photograph in any way or altering its appearance on the display.
Yes, the one on the left, Your Honor, is 55, 1055.
All right, the objection's overruled.
All right.
It's not an unfair depiction as to the position of the items.
We should have this side by side of the envelope marked as defendants.
1080.
1080.
Oh, he wants to start the questioning so bad.
Mr. Fung, you see these two photographs, do you not?
Yes.
All right. Now, looking on the left, that's the a closer up shot of Detective Furman pointing towards the glove hat and with his hand over the envelope, correct?
Yes.
All right. And you see where the envelope is in terms of the tiles.
Yes.
All right. Now, looking at the photograph to the right, that's the envelope in the position where you put down tags and had it photographed, correct?
Yes.
All right. And it's in a different position, is it not, from the photograph where Detective Furman is pointing in the direction of the envelope?
It appears to be yes.
About how far down do you think that's been moved?
Well,
As which to which?
All right. The photograph where to the right, where you put down the evidence tags, that's about how many inches would you estimate moved back towards the railing from the way it's depicted in the photograph where Detective Furman is pointing towards it?
Appears to be moved 3 to 4 inches towards the west.
Right. And the difference, another difference between the photographs is that in the one where you had the picture taken with the evidence tag down, there's more, you can see drag marks in the upper right-hand corner of that picture, can you not?
I
Drag
can't tell from the
marks.
video, but
Well, do you recall seeing,
He He won't
what
admit
looked
to
like,
anything, and he just looks dumb for it.
streaks of blood in the soil in the area where Mr. Goldman's body had been removed?
Yes.
All right. Would you agree with me that that represents track marks of Mr. Goldman's body being removed and dragged through the area where the glove hat and the envelope were?
Calls for speculation.
Sustain.
Well, there's more leafy foliage on top of those tiles, is there not, in the picture where you had the photograph taken?
Yes.
Now, Mr. Fung, would you agree that the envelope is in two different positions here?
Yes.
And is it clear to you, sir, that that envelope was moved and put into a new position after Mr. Goldman's body was removed from the scene?
Calls for speculation.
Sustain.
When did you first learn that the envelope had been moved from its original condition as it was found at the crime scene?
Irrelevant. Calls for hearsay.
Oral.
It's not irrelevant. It's very
First I
relevant.
heard about it was during the trial,
When?
this trial,
When during the trial? We've been here for a while.
when, you're right. When Detective
This is
Lang was
week
giving
12 of
testimony.
the trial. Yeah.
About a month ago, 2 months ago?
Whenever he was giving testimony.
And
See
isn't
you,
it your
Wolvenar.
responsibility? But how did you learn about that? Did you speak to Detective Lang?
How did I learn that?
Yeah, that the envelope had been moved.
I overheard it on the radio.
And you, in other words, you were overhearing the testimony on the radio?
Yes.
And how often have you been doing that, sir?
The testimony is playing all the time in different parts of the office, and people have it on all the time.
Oh, now he's
And
listening to the
When
testimony.
I pass by, I overhear portions of it.
When you're working in some place, do you ask them to turn it off?
Sometimes, yes.
Sometimes you don't.
Sometimes I'm not there long enough to ask them to do it.
Now, Mr. Fung, isn't it your responsibility to investigate whether evidence at the crime scene has been moved or altered from its original position?
Vague is the word investigation.
Oral.
Oh, come on.
I in some respects, it is my responsibility. Yes.
All right. And you're supposed to make inquiries of people at the scene as to whether or not evidence has been moved or altered.
Yes.
And
Oh.
did you ask Detective Lang if he saw evidence moved or altered, that somebody had seen the envelope and the glove moved and replaced back in a new position? Did you ask him about that on June 13th?
I don't recall if I did or not.
Well, when you say you don't recall, are you telling us that you might have?
Yes.
Did you ask Mr. Rokar, the photographer, whether he had seen any evidence moved and then replaced back to a new position?
I did not ask that of Mr. Rokar.
Did you ask Detective Phillips?
Your Honor, it's irrelevant who we asked if we did.
Oral.
No.
You saw Detective Phillips at the scene when Mr. Goldman's body was being removed through the area where the envelope, the hat, and the glove were. He was there.
I did not know Detective Phillips, and he was not the officer in charge at the scene.
Did you ask Steve Johnson, the chief forensic chemist,
Steve again.
About
if he had seen any of the evidence moved and then replaced back into a new position?
no.
He was there, wasn't he?
Yes, he was.
Did you ask Miss Ratcliffe, the representative from the coroner's office?
I did not speak with Ms. Ratcliffe.
Did you ask Mr. Jacobo from the coroner's office?
Same question? No.
Weren't they people in an excellent position to see whether or not the envelope, the hat, or the glove had been moved, since they were the ones that were involved in removing Mr. Goldman's body?
Calls for speculation.
Sustain.
Well, you did see Mr. Ratcliffe, Miss Ratcliffe, and Mr. Jacobo removing Mr. Goldman's body,
Yes, I did.
but you did not ask them, after that had been done, whether they had seen any of the evidence moved.
Argumentative, asked and answered.
Sustain.
Did you ask? Well, I think you've answered. There were representatives of SID who do fingerprinting at the scene, were there not?
Yes.
And they were standing on the top of the walkway, were they not?
During certain portions, yes.
And that was during the portion of time where Mr. Goldman's body was being removed. They were up there.
I don't recall when they were there.
Well, did you inquire of them as to whether or not they had seen any evidence? The envelope, the hat, or the glove moved?
No.
Did you ask Andrea Mazzola whether she had seen it?
This is brutal. This is just brutal. He could have just asked the question, did you ask anyone who was in that location at any time during that day if any evidence had been moved or not? That only gets you one "I didn't do my job properly" answer, though. He's naming every single person that was on scene at that time, because he said part of his job as the crime scene investigator, as the criminologist, is to determine whether any of the evidence has been moved or placed in another position. He said, yes, that's my job. So, okay, did you tell this person? No. Did you tell this person? No. Did you tell this person? No. He's getting him to admit a dozen times that he failed to do his job properly when he could have just did it all in one question. This is brutal, it's painful, and it is freaking brilliant. Get him to admit a million times to the fact he didn't do his job once. XCOMer Triple Z, the super chat. How did Ito meet his wife? We met at 4 a.m. at a homicide scene, both looking over a dead body. Both died in 2021. Any details on that? Well, the only detail I've got is Judge Ito was still alive and well. Judge Ito did not die in 2021. His wife did. Steve the Sheep God, the demeanor difference in Barry S. v. Elaine B. during an objection is astounding. Barry acts like it's no big deal. He already has 3 different ways to ask the question in his mind. Elaine is just durr. I'm trying here. Yeah. Poor Elaine. The illustrious Ms. Bretterhoff, she was not prepared. Thank you for that super chat. Let's jump back in.
Seen anything moved?
Yeah.
Nope.
I did not ask her that.
Did you ask Andrea Mazzola to conduct an inquiry about whether any evidence had been moved?
No.
Is it your testimony, sir, that on June 13th, you did not suspect that the glove or the envelope or any other evidence in that area had been moved from their original position?
Irrelevant.
Overruled.
Oh, the silence is deafening.
I did not suspect that they were moved.
Is it your testimony that you had no knowledge whatsoever on June 13th that that glove and the envelope had been moved and somebody put it back in its original position?
Sue's text.
Sustain.
You have to fill out a crime scene checklist report, you and Ms. Mazzola, correct?
Yes.
And you filled it out in this case with respect to the Bundy location?
Yes.
And one of the things that you have to check off on your crime scene checklist report is, has the scene been altered? If so, by whom and how?
Oh, it's on a checklist.
Yes.
right? Ask this page be marked defendants 1081.
1081. 1081.
Is this a copy of page 2 of your Bundy crime scene checklist report?
Yes, it is.
All right. Put this on the memo, Your Honor.
Yes. Mr. Harris?
Mr. Fung, please explain why you don't know things you don't know. Because that sucked. Hello? Hello?
Now,
There you
what
go.
we see on the Elmo, go back a little. Okay. We see on the Elmo is that question that you have to fill out. Has the scene been altered? If so, by whom and how? Correct?
That's what it says.
And if the scene has been altered, there's 1, 2, 3 lines for you to write in what happened, right?
Yes.
That's because it's considered very
Look, he's getting pissed now. He's getting pissed. See, this is why I say these slow burns are important. For the last 34 minutes, he's been going, okay, do we see an object on the stairs? Are the gloves in a different position? Look at this picture, see where the glove is. Now look at this picture, see where the glove is. They're different. Your job is to note whether this is. You didn't know this happened. You found out a month or 2 ago. You finally realized that some evidence had been moved. Well, that was your job at the crime scene, to know whether it was moved or not at that time. Did you talk to this person? No. Did you talk to that person? No. Did you talk to that person? No. And then it gets to something like this. Well, here is a checklist, a crime scene checklist that asks the question, has any evidence been moved, and gives you lines to fill in your answer. Now he is pissed because it's all coming back to haunt him hard right now. Now he's getting angry that he's been confronted with a checklist of everything that he's just been bashed about the head and shoulders with for the last 30 minutes. Look, that is a pissed off Fung. And why is he pissed off? He's just pissed off because he's being confronted with a crime scene checklist that he didn't properly fill out and didn't properly investigate. Boom.
very important that the criminalist document whether or not the scene has been altered from its original condition.
What do you mean by very important?
Well, it's important enough to have at least 3 lines on this checklist report to make sure you fill it out if you discover or you suspect that the scene has been altered.
Or will
Do you understand my
That
question?
space is provided if there is,
Don't say this.
for
Don't say it.
instances, when items are altered, such as,
Don't.
well,
Such
there
as they were
are things
altered
that are
here.
very altered. and
Very altered.
Just make note of them.
This one was just a little altered.
Ooh.
sustain.
Well, on this box, is there not a question mark?
Yes, there is.
Did you put that in there?
No.
Did Ms. Mazzola put that in there to your knowledge?
Yes.
And that was put in there because you and she suspected that this scene had been altered from the way it was originally found.
Calls for speculation.
Sustain. It's also cumulative.
I'm sorry?
It's also cumulative. You and she.
Did you discuss with Ms. Mazzola why she put a question mark in that box?
I think she asked me what to put in that box.
And I said, I don't
said-
know.
Put a question mark there.
And you said put a question mark there
Jesus.
because you knew that when Mr. Goldman's body had been dragged through the evidence, that the glove had been moved, the envelope had been moved, and somebody put it back into the place where they thought it was originally.
No,
Isn't that right?
that's wrong.
Are you sure that's wrong? Oh, ouch.
Now,
The sting.
Mr. Fung, you have described two methods for collecting items that contain possible biological material other than blood drops.
Excuse me? Should you repeat that?
Well, have you told us that there are two methods that you use to collect items at a crime scene other than blood drops? One involving gloves.
Yes.
All right, that's where you would pick up the item wearing gloves and put it into a bag, for example.
Yes.
And the second method that you described for us is something that you call the scoop technique.
Yes.
And the scoop technique is a method where you take a card or a pencil and you scoop the object into a bag.
Yes.
And again, spoiler alerts here. You know he's asking these questions about isn't the proper way of collecting evidence to wear these gloves and do this and do that and put it in the bag. You know he's asking these questions because Fung didn't do it. He's asking these questions. He's getting him to say, yes, that's how you're supposed to collect evidence. And then he's going to march him down yet another path of destruction.
And when you do the scoop technique, you do not touch the object with your bare hands.
That's correct.
And when you're collecting any item that could later be dusted for fingerprints, you would certainly not touch that item with your bare hands.
When I,
Yes. Let me repeat that.
yes.
When you are collecting an item which could contain fingerprints from the perpetrator or perpetrators of a crime, you would not touch that item with your bare hand, would you, when collecting it?
I would try not to.
Well, you say you try not to. It would be wrong to do that, wouldn't it?
If it was for prints, yes.
And in this case, the envelope that we saw found at Bundy that contained the prescription glasses, it had blood spatter on it.
Is that a question?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
didn't
it
look
is.
at the,
You didn't notice
I didn't look at the glasses that closely.
the envelope?
I looked at the envelope.
I'm asking about the envelope. Did the envelope that contained the prescription glasses have blood spatter on it?
There was a blood pattern on it.
And it had shoe impressions on it, did it not?
I don't recall, but I do remember there was some type of blood on the envelope.
You don't recall that it had shoe impressions on it?
I don't recall that.
Do you recall that the envelope was torn at the top?
No.
Ah. What do
Did
you
it occur
recall?
to you that one of the killers could have mistakenly believed that something other than glasses was in that envelope and grabbed for it?
Irrelevant cause of speculation.
Calls for speculation sustained.
A little bit
When
of
you were at the crime
speculation.
scene on June 13th, were you interested in the possibility that one of the killers could have grabbed or pulled at that envelope and touched it while struggling with Mr. Goldman?
Irrelevant, assumes facts, not evidence, cause for speculation.
Sustained.
Yeah.
When you were at the crime scene on June 13th and you saw that envelope, did you consider the possibility that the envelope might have fingerprints on it from one of the killers?
Irrelevant, cause for speculation.
Overruled.
That's not
Assumes facts,
speculative.
not evidence, also irrelevant.
Overruled.
No, he's asking about it.
You know, in the court, we read the question.
Killer or killers.
Killer or killers?
Killer or killers, it could have had fingerprints on there could have been fingerprints on the envelope.
And you thought about that then?
Yes.
Did you touch that envelope with your bare hands while collecting it, Mr. Fung?
No.
Oh, dear.
Sure of that?
Oh, don't do
Yes.
this.
No question about it in your mind.
Yes.
Oh. Oh. You know this isn't going to go well. Y'all saw what happened with F. Lee Bailey asking Mark Furman repeatedly, you never used the N-word in the last 10 years. So if if anybody comes and says you use this word at any time in the last 10 years, they would by definition be a liar. Yes. When they ask that question, they know the answer to it. They know that. Fung is just about to get lit up. Oh, God, it's painful.
Did you touch that envelope with your bare hands while collecting it, Mr. Fung?
No.
Sure of that?
Oh.
Yes.
No question about it in your mind.
Yes.
Do you recall Andrea Mazzola kneeling on the ground and passing you that envelope, which you grasped with an ungloved bare hand?
No, I don't.
Oh.
Your Honor,
Dig that hole deeper.
I'd like to show the prosecution some video.
Now, we'd like to show some video here.
Have you seen this already?
Yes, it is on their tape, Your Honor, but I'm not sure that they necessarily.
How long
have
is
seen
the clip?
Oh,
3 or 4 seconds.
All right. Show it to counsel.
we're going to show it. Your Honor, my suggestion is that we show it a few times and show it in slow motion.
Show it to counsel first, please.
Strap in. This is rough. He's never touched it with his bare hands. Never. He's absolutely sure. Marcia pretending to be shocked and afraid. We don't know why they're showing this video. There's 3 prosecutors.
Harris, why don't you show them the still that we'll show next?
3 prosecutors pretending they don't see what is clearly shown on that videotape.
This is on the tape that's been provided to the court and the district attorney.
Your Honor, I ask that all counsel's comments be stricken. Those aren't proper.
Overruled.
See, and now, see, that is the sign. This is the sign. It's really, really bad. Even now, the prosecutor's getting pissy because Barry is telling the judge that it's on the tape the judge has and it's on the prosecutor's tape. That is a confident man back there, Barry Scheck. Weenie here he's getting pissed. He's been backed into a corner, and it gets ugly.
All right, counsel have the opportunity. I thought we had an agreement, however, that we'd show each other these things before we start the session. All right, let's proceed.
Your Honor, with permission, I'd like to show this particular clip 3 or 4 times, once in slow motion and then the still.
Yeah, here we go.
All right, we're going to mark this as defense 1082.
Mr. Fung, I'd like you to watch this tape and very, very carefully with the jury. We're going to show it to you 3 or 4 times in real time. Then we'll show it to you in slow motion, and then we'll show you as still. All right, let's show it again in real time. Show it again in real time. Can we show it now in slow motion? You want to see that again in slow motion, Mr. Fung?
I don't need to see it in slow
All right.
motion.
Could we now show a still? Mr. Fung, that's you getting the prescription envelope from Andrea Mazzola and grasping it in your bare hands, isn't it?
No, it's not.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's not. He flatly denies it.
Well, what is that, Mr. Fung?
Could be any number of things.
That
He's getting pissy. He's getting pissy. It could be anything.
is not you, is not Ms. Mazzola in the position where the envelope was on the ground?
Health perspective.
Sustained.
Is she in that area?
She is, I can't tell from this clip where exactly we were.
You can't tell that you're, from this clip, that you're at the Bundy location in the area where the envelope was seen on the photographs?
I don't know that's exactly where we were, no.
You're not in and around that area, no?
We may have been around that area, but
He does not
That's
want to answer this
you
question.
grasping the envelope with the prescription glasses with your bare hands. What, pray tell, is it?
if we can always have the envelope printed, and if my fingerprints are on there, then it is. But I know that my
That's
fingerprints
not-
are not on that envelope.
That's not,
Did you just see how close he came to dropping an F-bomb? Did you catch that? That's not my hands on the envelope. He cannot, after what he just went through, he cannot admit that that is a video and a picture of him picking up the envelope with his damn bare hands.
And if my fingerprints are on there,
Listen to this.
then it is. But I know that my
That's
fingerprints
not-
are not on that envelope.
On that envelope.
that's not you grasping it with your bare hands.
That's correct.
On that envelope.
I'm going to go about another 15.
Your Honor, can we have the envelope produced?
Which number is that, Mr. Scheck? Mrs. Robertson, do you know the number?
Oh, clever, someone bloody random. Clever. Mm. Oh dear. Yeah, that's not good for him.
May I approach?
You may.
I'm glad you're using both T's in important. There, I do. I pronounce
Tom,
T's.
can you see that envelope in the bag?
Yes.
Now, the other items of evidence that you collected in the Bundy scene, weren't they put into coin envelopes if they were blood drops?
Yes.
And pager was put into a bag?
Pager.
Why don't you take out your evidence collection sheet and read along with me? The keys went into a coin envelope, correct?
Yes.
The pager went into a coin envelope.
Yes.
That object we see you and Miss Mazzola handling, it's not the keys of the pager, is it?
No.
It's not the glove.
No.
It's not the hat.
No.
It's not the ring.
No.
It's not any of the red stains that you recovered at Bundy.
That's correct.
Well, looking at your evidence checklist, can you suggest one thing other than that envelope that we saw in that videotape?
Notepad, maybe?
A notepad? Which notepad?
It wouldn't be evidence. It would be something that we used to take
Notepad.
notes.
Len.
Yeah, for the record, Mr. Scheck, what are we doing?
We're looking at it 3 more times.
This is 1082.
Man.
And now we have the still. Looking at that still, and here, if you want, we have a printout in yellow. Are you telling us that that's a notepad and not the envelope?
I'm saying it could be anything,
He's pissed.
but it's not the envelope here.
It could be anything
Well,
except the envelope.
Would you agree that it's not any other item of evidence that you collected at the scene? Couldn't be any other item of evidence except for that prescription envelope, right?
Well, wait a minute, I haven't checked.
Basis?
Argument that it was used as evidence.
Sustain.
Is there any other item of evidence that you collected at Bundy that you could be handling at that time with Ms. Mazzola?
Same with-
Oh,
I don't know what time frame this still was taken, so I can't give you an accurate.
That is a
Something.
picture of Mr. Jacobo and Ms. Radcliffe.
Okay.
They're from the coroner's office.
Right.
Now counsel's testifying. motion.
that's true. Rephrase the question.
Are they from the coroner's office?
Yes.
And they were at the scene when you arrived,
Yes.
and they left at about 11:15, as I recall.
Right.
So it's got to be between the time that you first arrived at the scene and the time that the coroner's left.
Yes.
Are you testifying that that's not the envelope?
It's argument that-
Sustain.
While he breathes heavy, just on Soulless Ginger, has Fung ever shown up for court tanked after all of this abuse? Because I absolutely would have. Yeah.
Mr. Harris
Oh.
advises me that, perhaps we could play it one more time in slow motion, and he thinks he can get her better still.
I think we need to start the slow-mo sooner than that. We'll start the slow-mo at the beginning. All right, we're going backwards at this point.
Okay, that's a good one. You can get that.
How about some more? No, backwards, backwards, backwards.
There. There. How about that, Mr. Fung?
Oh, Jesus!
Is that a question, Mr. Scheck?
Yes. How about
Wow. Sorry for the volume.
that picture, Mr. Fung? Does that refresh your recollection that you took the envelope from Andrea Mazzola with your bare hand?
Holy Jesus! What is that? What the fuck is that?
When you pointed out the time frame, it makes it even more sure in my mind that that is not the envelope, because we did not start picking up envelope or evidence until well after the coroners were gone.
That is a shell-shocked prosecution right there. Yeah, Marcia face. Yeah. Harley Hermy versus F. Lee Bailey. Who wins? It depends if they're in court or fighting. Well, I don't know. F. Lee Bailey was also a U.S. Marine, so I'll give it to Bailey. Yeah. He just got blasted hard. It's a pretty good still. If you search for the still, you can see the picture, and it's pretty much him dropping an envelope in a bag. That was just brutal. Let's go back a little bit and rewatch that again because I love it.
You took the envelope from Andrea Mazzola with your bare hand.
When you pointed out the time frame, it makes it even more sure in my mind that that is not
That's
the
so
envelope,
dumb.
because we did not start picking up envelope or evidence until well after the coroners were gone.
Oof. That's just so bad.
Yeah, do you have that frame? All right. 82A printout.
Notepad.
I'm saying I'm not sure what it is, but I know it's not that envelope.
No, it's just not that envelope.
Do you see where there's a slight, that object that Ms. Mazzola had in her hand, it appears to have a certain fullness to it?
I can't tell from the
Can't
video,
tell?
no.
Your Honor, with the court's permission, rather than have the jury touch it, but I would ask that this bag that contains the envelope be passed to the jury so they can look at it.
All right, hand it to juror number one, please.
Hand it to the jury.
I thought we did that already.
No, not this one, the new one.
Excuse me, counsel. You need my permission before you hand something to any juror.
Oh, I'm sorry, I thought you said yes. My apologies.
Nope.
Nope.
Let me see it first. Welcome to California. There. Ask me for the number. He didn't ask me directly and clearly for permission to hand it to the jury, Mr. Cocker. Well, then I didn't hear it. All right, Deputy Russell, would you transmit that back to the clerk?
There.
Mr. Scheck? You collect that from Deputy Russell.
Oh, that upset a lot of people. The judge is testy. The prosecution is freaking the hell out. Yeah, so Ito's got to throw some judicial weight around. Yeah, he kind of did, you know. Welcome to future hell. There you go. Get Let's pick up some stuff. Ms. Mazzola doing her job. Wish we didn't have potato cam for that. Sounds of silence.
A few moments ago, Mr. Fung, when you saw the video of the envelope, you said that it had refreshed your recollection when you looked at the frame because you knew that couldn't be the envelope since the evidence collection did not begin until the people from the coroner's office left.
That's what I indicated, yes.
All right. I'd like to show you this piece of videotape, Mr. Fung.
All right, we'll mark this as 1083.
So that's the evidence that she was collecting evidence while the people from the coroner's office were still there, which means Fung is dumb and forgot, or he's dumb because he lied.
And you've been watching this in the break, haven't you?
Yes, I have.
Now, this is Miss Mazzola putting the hat in the bag, correct?
Yes.
And if you look in the back of the steps, those are the print people walking back and forth. One is in the white coats.
Yes.
And you see in back of her what looks like the tape measure.
I couldn't make it out.
See it now?
Yes. Could be, yes.
Now she's picking up the glove. Now you remember that Mr. Jacobo from the coroner's office, he was the gentleman in the blue suit, the blue jumpsuit.
Yes.
I'd like you to watch very carefully in the frame these shoes. See those shoes? See that those blue pants?
Yes.
That's Mr. Jacobo, isn't it?
Appears to be, yes.
So you did begin evidence collection before the coroners left.
Yes.
Oh, we know what that means.
Gotcha, bitch.
That's what that means. Gotcha, bitch. Got caught in a lie. Trying to save his ass. Nope, that couldn't have been me putting the envelope into a bag with bare hands because we didn't even start collecting evidence until after the coroners had left. So is this a picture of you collecting evidence before the coroners left? Yeah. Busted.
So what you said before wasn't true.
It was the best of my recollection at the time.
Well, when you filled out your evidence collection report, Mr. Fung, for the Bundy scene, I think we've been through this before. There's a box that has times on it, right?
Yes.
And you didn't fill out any times for the collection of any of these pieces of evidence, did you?
They were not filled in.
Yeah, and see, if you remember back to day one of our little review of Dennis Fung's testimony here, he walked him through this evidence collection sheet, which showed that it has writings for who collected the evidence, what time the evidence was collected, And they didn't fill in who collected it or when it was collected on most of the pieces of evidence. And the reason he gave was because we only did that with important pieces of evidence. And Scheck hammered him and said, so you just determined right at that point in time which evidence is important and which evidence isn't important. And you didn't think any of the evidence was important, so you didn't timestamp it. Hem, ha, obfuscate. And now he's coming back. It's like, gee, if only you had done your job and put who collected this evidence and what time it was collected, then we'd have a really good idea of who it was, when you started, and what you'd collected, correct? And now he's getting crucified because of all the stupid, unimportant questions he was asking at the beginning are now coming back to haunt him royally.
I think we'll just print out the last still of the shoes.
All right, 1083A.
Thank you. Mr. Fung, why don't we move on to the issue of DNA and your knowledge of it?
All right, that's a good place to quit here for today. That was a quick 2 hours and 16 minutes. The DNA, that goes badly too, as you can probably guess. Let me write down this time here so I don't have to search for it like a mad dog like I had to do today. Just give me a quick second here. Why don't I have my pad with me? Oh yeah, that's right, because my dog ate it. Let's see, that is let's go 1 minute, the 1 hour mark. The 1 hour mark on Court TV's Week 12, Part 7. Okay. Oof. Let's go, Brandon. Just make it longer. Yeah, we got to save something. Now we're totally shifting. We've gone away from that evidence collection. Now we're going to get into the DNA part of it and how horrifically he screwed up the collection of the DNA evidence. Real quick here. Hey, Jeff, a little off topic, but there is breaking news in the Rush shooting with Alec Baldwin. They're going to announce charges through social media and no public statements from prosecutor. Yeah, we're going to be talking about that tomorrow on the show. Obviously, it's going to happen after we get off finishing this. That didn't come out right. It will be announced after we end this stream. That's what I was trying to say. So we'll talk about that tomorrow. Len H, I'm pissed and no one cares. OJ murdered them people and Cosby helped me. Plus Mark Furman was. I'm assuming if that's a semi-joke or whatnot, but I mean, this is an important thing. People should be pissed off that OJ Simpson walked free if you think he's guilty. It's not because of some magic voodoo the defense pulled. It's not some magic trick that the defense managed to use to bamboozle the jury. It's because of things like this. It's because the police acted shitty. It's because the crime scene investigators acted shitty. It's because the evidence was collected in a horrific manner. It's because corners were cut. Ignorant people were doing it. They weren't filling out forms properly. They weren't wearing proper protective clothes, leading to potential contamination of evidence. And the prosecution had no way, in the time it took them to prepare this, in the time it took them to conduct this trial, they had no way of countering that evidence. Anybody that's pissed with this decision, with this judge, with this verdict, should be pissed. And they should be pissed at the police. They should be pissed at the prosecutors. The defense were just doing their job the best way they could, which is to protect OJ's rights as well as protecting all of your rights. Next time the cops come to you with a shitty piece of evidence, something that may have been planted, something that may have been moved, something that may have been contaminated, something that may have been altered, remember, these guys here, people like them, are fighting for your rights. They're there to call the police and say, the police, the prosecutors, if they want to take away your freedom for X number of years, or God forbid, they want to take away your life with a death penalty, they better fucking do their job correctly, honestly and above board. And thank God that this trial happened, because there was a huge amount of procedural changes that went down in the prosecutor's office as well as the police department, evidence collection, DNA testing, everything else. This is not the trial of the century. It's the media trial of the century, maybe, but it was a very important trial. This is how hard you have to fight to come close to leveling the playing field when you are accused of a crime by a government with essentially unlimited resources, unlimited money. As we said, they still fucked up this case, and they outspent OJ Simpson's lawyers by $3 million. So yeah, maybe this didn't turn out the way it should have, but that is 100% on the prosecution and the investigators, the police, the investigation team. 100% on them. It's not on the defense team. It's on the prosecution for screwing up perhaps a slam dunk case so badly, because people are touching evidence with bare hands. People are walking through crime scenes in their shoes. They're lying about evidence. They're lying about what they did. They're lying about who they did it with. They're lying about whether they are racist or not. It is on the prosecution and the police's side that this was not a guilty verdict. And Steve the Sheep. You don't need expensive lawyers to get away with murder. You need to be famous enough. The press videotapes all the mistakes in evidence collection for you. That helps. That helps. Can't argue with that. But you still have to have the resources to get that evidence. You have to, it's shitty that this is the way it is. But that's the way it is. I'm not yelling at you, Let's Go Brandon. I would never, ever do anything like that. I'm yelling at the situation. But yeah, that's it. And this is exactly why I'm showing this. So that you can see, I'm not trying to change anybody's mind as to whether you personally think he's guilty or innocent. This was 28 years ago now. You've all made up your minds. We've all made up our minds. What I want you to do is to show you how it's possible that the jury could have had reasonable doubt about whether or not OJ Simpson did it. Again, that's one of the unfortunate realities of law. Everyone thinks, oh, it's about right versus wrong. Absolutely is not. I hate to say that. Criminal, civil cases, whatever, it's not about who's right and who's wrong. It literally boils down to who can prove what. That's a dangerous, scary thing. It really, really is. And I understand and I appreciate that. And the prosecution, they have a sacred obligation. They must be held to the highest standards of morals, ethics, and law, and evidence and fairness if they want to take away your rights, your freedom, and possibly your life. And I want you to see how, just by defense lawyers having some extra resources, how you can afford someone that has the wherewithal to take on an unlimited budgetary state. These are the masters of their job. F. Lee Bailey, BARRY SCHECK are the pinnacle of criminal defense lawyer. And you get to see them at work here. And it's, as I've said before, other legal scholars, other people will say this is one of, if not the greatest cross-examinations in the history of law. And it doesn't seem like, but it is. It's brutal. This is a masterclass. And the OJ Simpson trial, I don't know if it's still used now, but I know it was for years after. It was used in two ways in a lot of law school cases, in a lot of criminal law cases in college and whatnot, as an example of how not to prosecute a case and an example of how to act as a defense lawyer, how to defend a client. Oh, it's not the longest case. There have been much longer criminal cases, and there's much longer civil cases as well. The Budweiser has been involved in a case for, I believe it's over 60 years now. There's a few civil cases that have gone on for more than 60 years. If when Baldwin goes to jail, I'll sponsor the entire fucking Friday. Yeah, well, gee. Thanks for nothing. He ain't going to jail, even if he's charged. Jessica Reloaded. Well, looky here. You woke up in time to say hello right at the very end. Hello, Jessica Reloaded. Everybody go to Jessica Reloaded. Go to her channel and hit that subscribe button. Because she just woke up. She's gonna be having Adam Krigler on her channel in the next couple of days. Good Logic with Joe. Joe from Good Logic was on there a couple of days ago. She's got some pretty heavy hitters coming up on her channel. But yeah, thanks for nothing there, Brandon. Yeah. Your heart's in a good place. All right, that's going to wrap us up for today, guys. What do we got coming up tomorrow? Tomorrow, we're going to do 3 little stories. We're going to be doing an update on the Idaho murders. The search warrant was released. We know what they were searching for. And Kohberger's defense lawyer in Florida is flapping his gums a lot. So we need to go look at that. We'll look at that for a little bit, for a few minutes. Then we're going to, I don't know what order we'll do. We'll also be doing an update on what happens with the Rust movie shooting. Is Alec Baldwin going to get charged? Is Hannah Gutierrez Reed, is she going to get charged? Is Sarah going to get it? Who's going to get charged? They said they expect to prosecute up to 4 people. Who are going to be the 4 lucky people? Again, I'm going to call it Baldwin's going to get charged. He has to get charged. It would make no sense if he didn't get charged. Hannah's going to get it. What's her face? Ms. Pickle or whatever her name was that was in charge of everybody. She's going to get it. And maybe, oh crap, I forgot his name. The guy that, the safety manager guy that we think may have been shagging Sarah. Damn, what's his name? Not the hippie dumb guy that supplied the ammo, the guy on set. Can't think of his name, but he's going to go down. And I think those are the 4 they're going to prosecute. But there's going to be a 5th charge. They're going to charge the armorer, Hannah Gutierrez Reed. Or if they don't charge her, they're either going to charge her and this is going to happen, or this has already happened. So they're not, was it Seth or was the other guy? Not Seth. Was it Seth? Anywho, they're either not going to charge the armorer or they're going to charge her and this will happen. Whatever happens, she flips. She's got the dirt on everybody. I think they're either going to charge her and flip her, or she's going to flip when they threaten to charge her, and she is going to rat everybody else out with immunity. That's my call. So we'll see how it goes. Again, that's my call. We'll know soon. We'll know before I wake up, hopefully. Baldwin gets charged. Pickle gets charged. The guy that we think might be Seth. Not Seth Kinney, not the PDQ ammo guy, the other guy. Can't think of what the heck his name is. The guy that was on set. Dave. I think his name was Dave. And possibly Sarah. And the armorer, she's going to flip and rat everybody out. That's it. That's what I'm calling. So we'll talk about the Idaho deals. We'll talk about what happened with Rust, and we will talk about the Bizarro World case. Oh, I guess I can stop looking at Barry's mug here. We'll talk about the really, really interesting case that's happening with another Brian Walsh. We're going to have Megan Fox, not the thumbs, the other one. She's going to be on here talking about this Brian Walsh alleged murder case, which is really, really weird. It involves apparently international espionage, international intelligence agents, property managers, a dead body, some weird searches on the internet. She's going to talk about this tomorrow. And then we'll just have a little bit of fun with whatever time we have left. We'll throw it open to some just random news stories. And we'll see what happens. Then on Friday evening, it will be The Unexplained with Flux, myself, and hopefully Hannah Franz will be able to join us. And on Monday, we might do a little Maritime Monday, and then we're going to start hopefully with the Murdaugh trial with Andrew, Legal Mindset, and I tag teaming the trial of a man who was accused of like 90-something financial crimes, but that's not what we're looking at. Now he's on trial for deleting his wife with a long rifle and deleting his son with a shotgun. Wait. No, time out. What? Now don't do that. What are you doing? Don't scare me like that. Don't scare me like that, please. I'm looking, there's nothing about Ozzy resting in peace. Yeah, he still seems to be with us. So there you go. Don't do that. Jesus, don't scare me. Jeff Beck's gone. Didn't need him gone as well. Seriously. All right. Phew, got that out of the way. All right, let's end our poll. Our poll, it's time to wrap up our poll for today. We've got 360 people here, 395 likes. This is our slow day. This is our relaxing day. We'll do our poll. We'll wrap up our last few comments, and then we will call it a day. The poll ends thusly. In fourth place, smash and like and right again. Smash that like and subscribe button, like OJ got smashed by his cellmate. Y'all didn't buy that, huh? Coming in third place with 16% of the vote. Smash that like and subscribe button, like OJ smashed Nicole's best friend. It apparently happened, allegedly. Smash that like and subscribe button, like in third place with 31%. BARRY SCHECK is smashing Dennis Fung. And the winner with 42% of the vote, smash that like and subscribe button like Steve did it. End of poll. That's fun. That was our fun little poll for the day. Every time Gosney is not on the show, he commits another murder. Dun, dun, dun. Allegedly. All righty, and some more important notices coming up here. Sorry, we're just kind of wrapping up all of them, making sure we got all the super chats out of the way. There's one last one. Where did it go? Gotta scroll up just a little bit more. I saw it. Where did it go? I've lost it. What the hell? Aha! Steve the Sheep God, thank you so much. Jessica Reloaded is 36 subs from 1,000. Go over to Jessica Reloaded's channel. If you like what you see, if you like Jessica, so hit the subscribe button. Let's get her up to their 1,000 subscribers so she can get herself monetized. She has worked incredibly hard to get to that point. So there you go. She is just a bee's dick width away from doing it. Let's get her monetized. All right, folks, that's it. We got to wrap this up. That's all I got for today. Thank you so much. Tomorrow, those 3 stories, a little bit of maybe a little bit of F at Friday. We type stories. It's not a full-blown pay for drinks F at Friday, but it's just kind of a random news story day as we wrap up the week. Take care, everybody. Mods, thank you for being here. Alan, if you're still here, Alan, our mod, is, I believe, starting his vacation today. So we'll have bits of spotty Alan. Alan will be checking in and out randomly during a very, very well-earned and deserved vacation. We'll miss you, Alan. Keep us in mind. Visit when you can. Chat, you're the greatest chat ever. Steve the Sheep God says, I just did. I literally just did. Chat is the best chat ever. The Vice Squad, you guys rock. Couldn't do this without you. Those of you that put up with the shenanigans today, as you just have it on in the background, going about your daily work, driving around town, cleaning the house, working in the office, studying, whatever it is you're doing, thank you for being here. Come back later, hit that like button. And everybody, make sure you're subscribed. We're 2 subscribers away from 33,100. Exactly where we started. We went up, we went down, we went back up again. Thank you all. We'll see you in exactly approximately 21 hours and 20 minutes. Take care, everybody. Love you all. Peace out. Law Rex, gone. Enjoy your legal vices and all that other stuff.